Hello everyone, my name is Arun and welcome to my channel. This video is actually a quick tour and sneak peek of the new operating system, the Ubuntu MATE. Ubuntu MATE is actually another official flavor and a derivative of Ubuntu operating system. It's fixed. Instead of having the Ubuntu Unity desktop, this one has the MATE desktop, and this is quite a new addition into the family, and I mean Ubuntu family. It's been there for a few years, and it's getting better and better. Many people have highly praised this distribution because the smoothness with which it works, and especially the desktop, the MATE desktop. It has been very smooth and it's developing so well. People are taking a big interest towards it, and so I thought I'll give this a try and see how good this is. Now, as you see, this is how the MATE desktop looks like in the Ubuntu distribution. When I log this in, you get this very nice welcome screen with a lot of features in it, like the introduction. When you click it, you can actually scroll down and read through what this is, what the operating system is, and how it is different. Like what's Ubuntu is, what MATE desktop is, and some of the features it has, everything. That's quite nice. And also you have other options to donate. You also have like links to the community, the Ubuntu MATE community. You also get to know the features that are inside it if you want to read more into it. And also you have links to the chat room and the software boutique that is directly available. And now over here, all the software that you might want are actually spread into multiple categories such as education, games, graphics, internet, and so on and so forth. All the packages that you might require, or all the software that you might require, are nicely categorized over here. And this is similar to the Ubuntu Software Center Unity desktop. The only thing is this is nicely categorized, and you have a good summary specified over here. And if you click on the details, you also get a little bit of idea how this is, like whether it's available for 64-bit operating system or 32-bit or some other variants. And you also get a link to the website from which this software is, where you can get more details about the software, and you also get a screenshot. Let's see if this is available for some other thing, like Stellarium, for instance. This is a planetarium software. Yep, you get a good info, and you also get a screenshot of how this looks like. Nice. So I can close this. If I want, I can install. And it's very simple. And if you already have a software installed, you get this tick mark over here. Thereby, you know whether it's installed or not. Proceeding further, you have software is all categorized into various categories, and also you have the search option over here from which you can type. So let me type Terminator. Okay, that's a typo. Yeah, perfect. You also have this search option that can list down all the software that is available over here. Perfect. This way, this is actually a very good easy to use application, the software boutique. And now, with that being said, let's go away from the welcome screen and have a look at it. Now, this is how the desktop looks like. The MATE desktop by default has the green color, and they have an affiliation towards the green color in the entire theming, and it kind of goes pretty smoothly. To look at it, at the basic default layout you have over here, over here you have all the Windows option over here, in the sense if you have multiple windows opened up, if you click this button, all those windows will minimize, and thereby you come to the desktop. You have a simple desktop folder over here with the shortcut to your home folder, and you have multiple workspaces. By default, you have 4 workspaces. Thereby, you can have multiple virtual monitors to keep your applications running. You also have a recycle bin folder, which is called as the trash folder, and on the top of it, you have the applications menu bar, which has all the applications sorted out. Okay, categorized, and you also have places which has links to some of the common places you might look at. Okay, and you have a system tool settings, a systems menu, wherein all the system settings like administrative settings or the preference hardware network settings, all of them are available that you can go and have a look at it. And on the right, on the top right corner, you have the status bar. You have this notification settings where you have the internet connection settings, volume controls, battery or the power settings, date and time, calendar with date and time, and you also have, let me click this again, and you also have the power buttons wherein you have the shutdown, restart and suspend options over here. And the logout options are actually available in the system settings over here. So if you click system, and the logout and lock screen options are available over here. Kind of interesting. Usually in all the other applications they would club all these in one shot. They kind of in Mate they kind of put this in a different way. And by the way, it is Mate, not Mate. The reason is because the people who developed this distribution, they developed this desktop. They named it Mate, named after some South American drink. So it is called as Mate, not Mate. Okay. If you want to know more, if you want to know better reason why they call it so, you can ask Martin Wimpress. He is actually the founder and one of the leading developers for the Mate desktop environment. And let's go further. Now if you look at if you look at the applications, the menu is actually very easy to look at. In the sense, you have all the software arranged into various categories like accessories, education, graphics, internet, office, sounds and videos, system tools, and universal access. On the accessories, you have some basic tools like the Mate search tool, font viewer, a calculator. They actually made their own version of the calculator instead of using the GNOME calculator versions. And they have a few other software. They have their own text editor called as the Pluma text editor. And this is, if I look at this is Pluma, and it's actually a small and lightweight editor instead of gedit, and looks in several ways it looks very similar to how a gedit will look like. Nice. Yep, very similar, and obviously how do I put it, very similar, and actually a mimic of how gedit looks like. Not bad at all. Actually, if you look at this, is actually an actual clone of it. Nice. And then what else do we have in accessories? You have this Mate search tool, which helps you to search for files and folders, I suppose. Let's look at videos. Yep, you have the folder search available. Suppose if you have some kind of documents, I think it can also search for that. So let's create an empty document over here, and let's say sample doc.txt. Let's see if it's able to search. Sample doc.txt. Would you look at that? This application searcher helps you to look into files and folders available, and actually you can push it to other places as well. If you look at file systems, I guess this will be able to find it properly. Although file systems didn't work, have more options over here. Anyway, within the context of your home folder, all your files and folders will be able to. This application is able to search them out. Sweet. So that's pretty nice. And let's move proceeding further. You have the LibreOffice Math over here. In graphics, you have not much. You have a LibreOffice Draw and a Mate color selection tool. Not bad. This actually has a color selection tool, and as well as you can actually create your own colors and get the hex strings from it. Not bad. Pretty good and simple if you're some kind of a developer or some kind of a designer who needs to have different colors. Who needs to generate their own colors. Nice. And what else do we have over here? Not much. You just have a simple image viewer, a Chartwell to organize your photos, and a simple scan software to scan your documents. As far as the internet is concerned, you have Firefox, Thunderbird webmail client, HexChat, and then a transmission, the software that helps you to download torrent files. And far as Office is concerned, you almost have the full Office suite except LibreOffice Math, but this is more than enough for many people. and you have an actual document viewer similar to the document viewer, and you also have a dictionary by default. And for sounds and video, you have both. You have let's see, sounds, volume controls and sound settings, rhythm box, music player, and a VLC media player. And for others you have Brasero to copy CDs and DVDs, and you also have the Cheese photo editor and video player. Now, if you have a webcam, this will be useful for a video facial having a face recorded. And other than that, you have system tools, which we have Kaha. It's not Kaja, it's Kaha. Kaha is actually the file manager that you have in the desktop, and I have to say this file manager is pretty simple and sleek. Okay, let's look at this in detail. So if I look at the views option over here, you have the option to enable and disable the main toolbar, the side panel, the location bar, which is what we have over here, and what else you have. Also have the status bar, which can tell you what's happening at the bottom. And you also have this extra pane option over here, so that you can browse and go into different files and folders and copy paste them up, move them up. This is neat. Here's the kicker: unlike the other ones, unlike in many other file managers where either have the extra pane or the multiple tab feature, they have both of them. For instance, if I right click and say if I open in a new tab, check it out. This folder opens up in a new folder. Likewise, I have both the features to have both an extra pane as well as a tab. Not bad. I mean, I wouldn't say not bad. This is actually pretty good and convenient. And also, here's one more feature that some of you might be interested in. If you right click, and there's an option at the bottom called as folders color, and I can actually custom color change it up. For instance, let's say I put this to orange. Check this out. All the folders are green, whereas this folder alone is in orange color. Thereby, if you want to make a little bit of a subtle, an easy distinction and customization, I can actually do that. This feature was available in a few older versions of Ubuntu MATE as well, so there isn't anything interesting about it. But just want to let you know this could be really helpful. And what else? I can also open files and folders as an administrator. I just have to provide the password, and if I open this up, you open up the folders and with the super user permission. And now if you want to delete any folders or do something do something that requires super user admin privileges, you can actually go and do that. But when you accessing in this kind of a scenario, be cautious, because if you delete something, the security concerns that you have by default will not be there. Anyway, moving on further, this is one feature. And if I want to switch this, stop this extra pane, I just have to go and click this, and it will go away. And you also have the shortcuts available next to them, so that's easier. And what else? You have the bookmark options and like if you look at about, this is actually Kaha. Again, it's not Kaja, it's Kaha. And I think it's kind of derived from a lot of Spanish words, especially Latin American Spanish words. There's many of the names in this distribution. That's why Mate, instead of calling Mate, they call it Mate. Kaja, which how we'll pronounce normally, is pronounced as Kaha. Anyway, moving on further, what if you look at it, we have a terminal over here, a simple one, very reminiscent of how Ubuntu terminal or a GNOME terminal looks like. And if you look at the details, it's actually a custom-made terminal from Mate environment. It's called as a Mate terminal. And let's see what is it written on. Okay, that information is not here, but if I want to go, I can click this website link, and I can actually go over there and have a look. Okay, now since we open this terminal, let's look at the kernel. Since this is version 17.04, you will have the latest kernel available. So you have the kernel 4.10 available, and this is actually derived from Ubuntu, so it's very obvious over here. And if you look at the memory usage, megabytes, not bad. And under static conditions, that is, if I weren't running any other program in the background, just by having the terminal opened up, it's using up to 422 megabytes. That's pretty light. And if I were to open the system monitor, I think it should be there in the, let's see, system tools. Yeah, it's called as the MATE system monitor. And if I open that up, okay, fair enough, it shows up to 600 megabytes. Not I mean, that's actually pretty good. A little, I mean, 420 something running and a little 200 megabytes in standby. So 600 megabytes in usage, that's pretty nice. And the CPU usage is also pretty low. Since I'm running this in a virtual machine, I'm just allocated 2 gigabytes of memory. Nevertheless, it's working out smoothly. And if I look at the system details over here, you have the system details mentioned up over here. You also mentioned the hardware, the processor details, amount of disk space available, and the kernel details as well. And you have all the software and programs running in the background over here in the processes. You have the resources, and you also have the file system wherein your entire disk partitions will be shown. And let's have a look at that too. You just open up my terminal, and if you look at lsblk, you look at it, there's only one partition, which is actually the slash, and I didn't create custom partitions. And what you notice is that there is no swap partition, because from this version onwards, from 17.04 onwards, Ubuntu made a decision to avoid swap spaces. So instead of having a separate swap partition, you will have a swap file whose size will be 5% of your 5% of your hard disk or hard drive, or 2 gigabytes. I mean, 2 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes or something like that. I guess 2 gigabytes, whichever is smaller. So that way people have moved this. People are going towards the swap file instead of partitions. That's actually one good progress, because in these days the amount of memory you get is much cheaper. So instead of depending on the hard disk as for swap spaces, going with the swap file is much more convenient. And if you want to look at the swap space, it's actually available in this root folder. And this particular file over here, swap file over here, this is actually the swap file. Okay, and this is in a constant 2 gigabytes, and it will increase or decrease accordingly. Either the size will increase, but the data will go in. I think the size will remain as it is, if I remember, but the content in it will go up and down depending on how much you're using swaps. Anyway, moving on further, let's have a look at the remaining parts of this applications. If I were to look at it, since they use the MATE desktop environment, many of the software that are associated with it, the themings are quite consistent, artistically consistent. Okay, all the software they render out pretty well, and the themings are pretty consistent. So that's actually a very good point, very good one. On an aesthetic point of view, it's very good. If you were to look at the other options, you have the GW package installer by default, pretty good. So thereby, if you want to install any Ubuntu software or Debian based operating software, you can directly click this and go about with it. And you have the power statistics and system monitor tool and MATE terminal and the disk usage analyzer. Nice. And you also have a screen magnifier, and that helps you to zoom in a particular part of the screen. I think I'll close this up because this might be intensive because of the video recording. And let's proceeding further. If I were to look at the places, we saw this, and in the system let's look at the administrative settings. All the system settings are kept over here in different options, like greeting settings, network settings, printers, software boutique, software updater, and wherever I keep my cursor, I also have this tooltip that will elaborate me in a simple line, elaborate me within a short explanation what is it and what can I do with it. Okay, we'll go deeper into that. And also we have the preferences, wherein we have the settings to additional drivers, keyboard and all, keyboard display and all. Let's have a look at that. All of this, if you want to launch in a single shot, you can open the MATE configuration tool or the control center, wherein everything what you want would be nicely categorized over here, like the hardware preferences and everything. So you can actually go and set up the library settings over here. Okay, like you can have if you want to keep a user image or some specific colors or set some panels up, you can actually do that. And in the you have a simple network settings manager, although I haven't enabled the internet over here, but if you have installed it in an actual hardware, you can do it. You have the connection for the printers, and with this new version of Ubuntu, you're going with a driverless printer option. So if you have any printer connected to the internet through the local area network, or connected to your operating system, meaning your laptop or your hardware via USB cable, this would detect it seamlessly. And you have the softwares and updates option over here. That similar to how Ubuntu software updater will look like. You have different options over here to set up update settings, to enable disable software from other partners or other links, where do you want to download and what kind of a downloadable software you would like to have, authentication the information, and if you have any additional drivers that can be installed in your operating system, or different kinds of drivers that you might want to switch between them, those will appear over here. And you have some developer options over here as well, that if suppose you want to work with some certain software, so before it gets released and you want to work with them, if you enable this, you will get those software. So it can be buggy, but of course it's actually a developer version, so it could be a buggy here and there, and if you want, you can actually work on them and send them reports, so that the Ubuntu MATE team can actually work on that. Okay, moving on further, you have the software boutique, which we saw earlier, and you also have the software updater. Okay, well, this will take some time, but anyway, I'll stop this. Okay, I think it will going to take a few seconds to stop. Anyway, moving on, you have the startup disk creator. Nice. You have this time and date settings, and the time and date settings, you have nothing much specific about it, just plain one, and it is working neat. And you have the user groups, and you have the welcome screen settings. If you click this, your welcome screen pops up. And I really like this animation, the way they put it, and the transients they put it while you welcome it. Nice. And proceeding, let's see, I just close this up, right? Yeah, I think this is something I'm noticing for a while. Things get a little stuck slightly when they close up, but it's okay. Anyway, proceeding on, you have the additional drivers which are also part of this software settings. You have the Bluetooth settings for a Bluetooth adapter, manager, disks, and you have a display option too, and a keyboard settings and a keyboard shortcuts. You have tools to configure your mouse, power management, and sounds. Similarly, if you have to go on, there's a few more things to look at, and let's go into the actual thing that are one of the key features of Ubuntu MATE, the appearance, and also this layout settings. As far as the themes for the MATE desktop goes by, it has plenty of them. By default, you have these 9 themes, like the custom theme, the ambience theme, the ambience dark theme, ambience MATE dark theme, and the black MATE theme. And then you have this blue Menta theme, and these themes are consistent throughout, and each theme has its own set of default folders, default folder icons, and normal icons and coloring schemes and all. Even the icons that are on the top right, they'll be changed accordingly. So if there are some icons missing, the base ambient MATE theme icon will come and replace it, and if for those folders for which you change the icon color, they will remain as it is. And the themes, they actually go pretty consistently. They are actually consistent. And let's open up something. Let's see the text editor. How does that look like? The text editor is good too. Actually, the color schemes affect the icons a bit, but it's not affecting the theming well. That's perfectly fine. So it's artistically coherent. And let's see, you also have the option to change the background, and I have to admit the backgrounds are pretty neat, especially the scar background over here. It's kind of like the vintage style that MATE shipped up with. And I have to admit, the application, this is pretty neat. So okay, that's tux. Okay, I think I'm going to keep this. I think I'm going to keep this one because I like this orange color. And I can also go and set the fonts. By default it uses Ubuntu fonts, and as far as the interface is concerned, you have the option to show just icons or menus. If you want, you can actually do a little more with it. Okay, and these, other than these 13 themes that are available, you can install more themes if you want. I can actually customize these themes and set as per your settings. That's one of them. Other thing that you can actually do is let's see, where is that? The control, administration or preferences. Yeah, the preference, if I had to go to look and feel, and there's also this main menu option over here. In this main menu option, you can actually set up what kind of menus do you want and you don't want. That's customizable. And where is that one more thing I really wanted to show you people out? The appearance we just saw, the MATE tweak. Yes, this is what I've been actually looking for. This is actually the signature feature that are available in MATE, wherein other than setting up the desktop icons that you want on the desktop, okay, this is there's one more feature over here. This is the panel feature, and this panel feature is the one highlight of MATE. Like, what you have is that other than the default MATE styling available, you have a few more styles that are available. For instance, you have the Cupertino style. So this Cupertino style kind of resembles how a MacBook style might look like. Okay, the differences are nothing much on the top, but what you have at the bottom is, instead of having your status bar with workspace, you will have this dash this blank dash at the bottom. Okay, and you also have this Pantheon layout. Okay, which is kind of similar to the previous Cupertino layout with the slight coloring shade over here. And let's see, and over here in the menu bar over here, you also have a searcher, and this searcher will, I guess, it will help me to search both the applications and the files. Let's check it out. So if I type videos, oh, it's just a file, it's just an application searcher. Let's see, terminal, nice. And this searcher is sleek because it just finds it with a very few keystrokes, and it's working out nice. And then you also have this Fedora theme, settings over here. Not bad. Although there aren't much, there are just only a few subtle differences. You get a good view. And other than that, some of the other things, like you have this GNOME 2 layout, which was actually inspired the MATE desktop. Earlier, before GNOME went into GNOME 3 styling, this is the style that GNOME used to have. And other than that, you also have this Mutiny layout, which is very reminiscent of Ubuntu, Unity desktop layout. And then when I have this option, let me minimize this. When I have this option, I think this Windows key will work. Does it? I don't think so. Anyway, what else do you have? Whenever you enable particular panel, you also have the option to specify the advanced menu options. Now, do I have something? No. And then you have the options to have indicators. Although, what does it imply? Okay, you can actually have pull down terminal or keyboard LEDs if you want. Like over here, when I enable keyboard LEDs, we have these options on that indicate num lock, scroll lock, and caps lock. Nice. And what else do you have? You have the netbook style. You have the netbook style, and not much. The bottom bar is gone, and that only the top bar is available. And there's also this Redmond style, where the top bar is completely gone, and everything is at the bottom. And finally, there is this Ubuntu MATE style, which is by default the default styling available. In all of them, in this advanced menu, launcher applications, they are all available. Perfect. Oh, this is what I wanted. Nice. Actually, one of the reasons why I wasn't switching to Mate is because I am kind of used to this super key option, wherein if I type the super key, I need that menu option opening up, and thereby if I type something like terminal, it should pop up. And now I figured this out. Now I'll give a serious try to Mate sometime. So this way, what will happen is that if I enable this advanced menu option over here, you have this perfect you have this perfect searcher. And if you're somebody who is very used to the super key and type program searcher like me, like you type super key and then start with the program, this will be useful. And you also have this launcher application, and I guess this made some changes here, somewhere over here. I don't know exactly what it did, so I just have to go and figure this out. Anyway, what I'm mentioning is that this is one of the significant, highlighting features of Mate. Instead of having just one particular layout available, Mate gives you a variety, at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layouts are in total. One genuinely its own layout, and other 6 are inspired from the other desktop and operating system layouts. So this is pretty cool. As far as the stability of this operating system is concerned, this is pretty sleek, and since it's running with Ubuntu under the hood, it has quite an extensive link to many of the Ubuntu software. So if you want to custom build this operating system to have as many softwares of your choice, you can actually do that with quite the ease. If you are like a developer, if you're like a newbie or someone who's want to jump into Ubuntu or Linux, and you want to start with something very easy and slightly Windows at the same time, very powerful under the hood, Ubuntu Mate is one good choice actually. And especially with the Mate desktop, it made it much easier and much more elegant, and you can also have this customizing features. So no wonder people actually like this Mate distribution, and this operating system itself is quite a good combo. I guess Martin Wimpress, if I remember right, that he's the head developer behind Ubuntu Mate, and he and his team have worked so good and worked so hard on this, and they actually deserve a good appreciation for this beautiful operating system and the desktop environment. Now that's all I have for you guys in this video. This is actually a full good review on Ubuntu Mate. Hope you guys like this, and I'll see you all next time on another interesting video. Till then, take care.